Good afternoon. Welcome to Darling Stadium. We're here for Peninsula District soccer match between the Kecoughtan Warriors and the Phoebus Phantoms. I'm alongside Bob Baster and Kecoughtan's first-year head coach, Sean Halloran. Bob?
Sean, welcome back to Kecoughtan. You're back where you belong. Tell us about your team.
We've got a pretty young team. It's my first year back here in my alma mater. Graduated in 1990. Excited about the year. Trying to blend some old and new players into my style of soccer. We're going to see how we do tonight in our first district game. We're excited about it.
Well, good luck to the Warriors and good luck to you, Sean.
Thank you very much.
You know, they said the weather was going to be bad today. It was going to rain and be windy, but it's absolutely beautiful, and we're excited. Another nice day to play soccer. Bob?
Bobby, another excellent team for Phoebus this season. Always a good rivalry with Kecoughtan. Tell us something about your team.
Well, this year we've been on the comeback trail from a lot of injuries early in the season. We've had at one point 5 starters out. Now we're back to just 2 starters out. The guys are playing with a lot of heart. They have been playing competitive in every non-district game we've had. So I think they're going to have a pretty good season this year. Got a lot of confidence in them. They're playing hard, and they're out to play to win.
Good luck to Phoebus today.
Thank you.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Go. Welcome to Darling Stadium. I'm alongside Bob Baster. I'm Scotty Tyson. We've got the Kecoughtan Warriors coming into the game 1, 2, and 3 on the year, and the Phoebus Phantoms, who enter the game 2 and 3. Bob, what do we know about Kecoughtan's early season schedule?
Kecoughtan played a tough schedule against primarily Southside teams. They're just beginning the district at this point, trying to get into the new system under their new coach, and this should be a good battle today, I would think.
I agree. The teams they played from the Southside, First Colonial, I know, is ranked number 4 down there. They lost to them just 1-0 in the very first game of the year. They tied Kellam 3-3 in a game in which they led. Kellam's also ranked number 9 down there. And in the game we lost to Kecoughtan 2-1. I noticed yesterday Kecoughtan lost to Ocean Lakes, who's the number 1 team at the beach, just 1-0. So Kecoughtan certainly can turn it all around and get this district schedule rolling today. As can Phoebus, who's 2 and 3. They beat Lake Taylor this year and also Norview, and I know they've lost a couple of games, but they seem to be getting healthy, and their coach said that they were...
Welcome to Soccer Darling Stadium. Today, Phoebus will be playing Kecoughtan, and we'll be starting with the Phoebus lineup.
Get the starting lineups for Kecoughtan and Phoebus.
For Phoebus, Jonathan Nisbet. Richard Wright.
For Phoebus, Jonathan Nisbet. Richard Wright.
Gregory Haynes.
Gregory Haynes.
Matt Evans.
Matt Evans.
Boyd Saunders.
Boyd Saunders.
Kyle Johnson.
Kyle Johnson.
Alex Donatelli.
Alex Donatelli, he'll be the keeper today.
Jacob Nisbet.
Jacob Nisbet.
Joshua Parker.
And Joshua Parker.
Kurt Usher.
Kurt Usher.
And Stephen Bryant.
And Stephen Bryant.
Phoebus is coached by Bobby Wilt.
Phoebus is coached by Bobby Wilt. And now the starting lineup for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
And now the starting lineup for Kecoughtan Warriors. Zach Fenn.
Number 9, Zach Fenn.
Travis Ferry.
Number 6, Travis Ferry.
Stephen Griffith.
Stephen Griffith. Number 16.
Chris Hain.
Chris Hain, he'll start in the back. Number 2.
Nate Klein.
Nate Klein, he'll start at the other side, up front. Number 8.
Will Keck.
Will Keck, he's in the back as well. Number 7.
Adam Stillwell.
Adam Stillwell, he'll be alongside Nate Klein up front. He's number 13.
Ian Taylor.
Ian Taylor plays outside right for the Warriors, number 11.
Freddie Vogel.
Freddie Vogel, he'll be in the back, number 5.
Mike Walters.
Mike Walters right in the center of the field for Kecoughtan. He's number 10.
Neil Wilson.
And in the goal, Neil Wilson.
Kecoughtan is coached by Sean Halloran.
Kecoughtan's coach Sean Halloran, Bob. He's originally a Kecoughtan Warrior, and then he took some time off.
Well, he was quite a player when he played at Kecoughtan. He graduated in 1990. His teams won the Peninsula District Championship 4 times when he was a player, and he started every game of his 4-year career. He was a college scholarship soccer player at Mount St. Mary's in Maryland. He came back and coached the JV team at Kecoughtan for a season, but before taking the head coaching job at Gloucester, and Kecoughtan welcomes him back this year.
Well, we're certainly going to miss John Bailey, but we're excited to get Sean here at Kecoughtan as well. It's always good to keep the forest green coming back. We'll be starting real shortly here. It was supposed to rain and be kind of nasty today, but it's turned out absolutely beautiful. A little chilly, but that's good. If I were playing, that's what I'd prefer as opposed to the heat. And it doesn't look like we're going to get any rain, maybe later for the girls. John Cerrone's up here, and he knows his weather, and he said we might get a shower or two for the girls later on tonight, but nothing for the boys. So we're excited. No excuses today.
Looks like we might have a little bit of a wind factor in the first half. Kecoughtan will have the wind at their back.
At the back, they're going from our right to our left, which is the opposite way I wrote it. So if I mess up a few names, you got to bear with me here early. First time we've seen both of these schools this year.
Well, this is really the beginning of the district season for both teams. They'll play primarily district games now until the end of the season and hopefully prep up to go to the south side and win some games.
Absolutely, and I think that's what Sean has done. He really created a very difficult early schedule for the Warriors, and I don't see any harm that could come from that at all. They've got to just take the record and throw it out the window and start the district and win the district and go from there. And they know what they're going to face when they get to that regional level, and that's a good thing. Inbounds throw by Matt Evans for Phoebus is returned. Kecoughtan will play in the middle of the field. That's Zach Fenn, number 9. He'll send it back to Keck, who fires back to Hain. Hain outside to number 16. That's Griffith now in the middle of the field. They play a lot of two-touch. They try to get it to the outside and then send it to the middle, back to the outside, and look for those big crossing to the far post. And I know that's the kind of soccer that you like, Bob.
I do. I really like to see the field spread out, and nothing makes me happier than seeing a far post goal.
That's what's so cool about watching from up here. You can see things develop, and that play was set up very well by Kecoughtan. They went backwards, spread Phoebus out, pulled him out, and then looked for that big cross and almost connected on it. Goalkeeper again for Phoebus is Alex Donatelli. He'll send this ball almost to the 50, sent right back in. That's Griffith. Phoebus will play with it in the middle of the field. That's number 10 for Phoebus, Jonathan Nisbet. He's a captain, and I believe their leading scorer this year, Bob.
Jonathan is what their coach described as their go-to guy. He is their leading scorer. It's his 4th year on the varsity. He's a co-captain. He was all-district second team, plays ODP soccer. He was Phoebus's Offensive Player of the Year last year. He also plays for the famous Beach FC program. He's a member of the Key Club, the National Honor Society, the Spanish Honor Society, the Math Club. He was in the Governor's School residential program. His GPA is 3.97, and he's 11th in his class.
Wow, fantastic. Great ball up through the right side. Knocked out by Phoebus, thrown in quickly by the Warriors. 13 tries to settle. That's Stillwell. They'll come all the way back to Keck. Keck will take his time, fire. Nice play by the Phantoms to get it right back. Hain sends it back Phoebus's way. We're going to play with it in the middle of the field a little bit. Zach Fenn looking for racing room. He's a sophomore. Big long ball sent into the Phoebus area. That's Jacob Nisbet. That must be Jonathan's brother.
It is. Both of them had a little problem with injuries, but they're back. Jacob is a sophomore. It's his 2nd year on the varsity. He also plays select soccer. He's a member of the Key Club, the Spanish Honor Society, the Math Honor Society, the French Club. His GPA is 4.30, and he's tied for 1st in his class.
1st in his class. That'll work. Griffith sends this free kick into Phoebus' zone. It'll travel over the end line. We'll get a goal kick coming back. Probably Donatelli to put this into play again.
I want to mention about the Nisbet brothers. Their mother was the keeper on the first women's soccer team I ever coached.
There they had somebody to shoot on as they grew up. Donatelli will send it out for Phoebus. Kecoughtan is controlled in the Phoebus end most of the first few minutes here. Travis Ferry heads that one back in. Looking for a little break. Klein works his way through. Strong cross right to the cage, and in the cage it goes. That was Stillwell, I believe. A beautiful cross from Klein after Ferry set him up, and Stillwell finished well. The Warriors go up 1-0, Bob, and that was fairly quick.
That was a beautiful cross, and we talked about a far post goal. It got past the keeper, and that's exactly what happened.
Scores Adam Stillwell with assist by Travis Ferry.
That's what they were looking for.
Assist by Ferry, goal by Stillwell.
I think part of their 1, 2, and 3 early record too was, again, it's a new system, a new coach, and learning, to play with each other and It seems as though they've really learned to do that, and it's always difficult when you get a new coach. They've got different ideas, and you got to buy into it, and looks as though they have. And they are hard workers. This has always been a very talented team. The JV's been strong the last few years, and they look to win the district this year. Phoebus controls now in the middle of the field. They send it in. Keck goes back for Kecoughtan. Fires the ball deep, Stillwell on a run.
Scotty, what do we know about the formations these teams are playing?
Well, it looks as though Kecoughtan plays a 3-5-2. They've got the three in the back. That's Vogel, Hain, and Keck. And then up front, they use Griffith more as an offensive midfielder, I believe, but he does play the deepest of the four in front of him. That's Ferry, Fenn, Walters, and Taylor. And then they look to get the ball to Klein and Stillwell. And again, we talked about how they try to send it inside to one of those two, and they bounce it back out. A lot of two-touch soccer. And then they look for that big far post cross that was so successful a few minutes back. And Phoebus, I believe, Bob, you probably know more if you've been watching them. Looks like they have four in the back as opposed to the three that we're using.
I think that's correct. I think Phoebus is playing a 4-4-2 at this point, and frequently only leaving one striker up top.
I believe, yeah, he actually listed just one forward, but they do line them up as two at the beginning. We'll see what will allow them to play, I believe. There's Fenn. Long shot from outside the box. Donatelli handles easily. He'll send this back Kecoughtan's way. Strong boot, well over the 50.
And into the wind. Very nicely done.
Kecoughtan sends it back further. That's Hain trying to save, to no avail. Phoebus will throw in. That's Matt Evans for the Phantoms. Fenn sends it back outside. Looks like Evans will get another shot at this. He's got Jonathan Nisbet going to the corner there. Well, it looked harmless enough, but I believe that went off a Kecoughtan foot. It did. Throw in. That's Nisbet there, the captain, number 10. He'll throw it in and see if they can use this just like a corner. Big throw to the center of the box. Cleared up and out by Fenn. And Nisbet's going to reload. In the goal for Kecoughtan today is Neil Wilson. He's going to get some early work here if we can't clear this quickly.
It's tough to get playing time for Kecoughtan in the goal. They have 4 keepers on the team.
A lot of work. Strong clear there. That's Taylor all the way back. Stillwell controls. A lot of room, and he'll take his time. Klein now up on the right side looking for a run. I believe he's offside. And he is. Well played by the Phoebus defender. That's number 11, Jacob Nisbet back there that lured Klein a little deep. It was a good breakout for the Warriors, though. It got a little dangerous down there in front of the Kecoughtan goal. I believe this will be Nisbet to send it out. He does, a little bumping over there. Send back to Hain. Try to pull the Phantoms, and they do. Work it outside. That's Griffith back to Ferry. Ferry controls and sends the ball through. The Phoebus looks to control. Number 11, Jacob Nisbet, sends it out. That's Keck for Kecoughtan. Out to Fenn. Fenn off a Phoebus player. This will be Fenn to throw in for Kecoughtan. Deep throw to Walters. Walters sends it on over the top of the Phoebus cage. And once again, Donatelli will send it out. They seem to be sending a lot of balls up into that wind, and Kecoughtan's able to send it right back. There's Ferry controlling outside to Keck, who has a lot of room. Waits a little too long. In comes Greg Haynes. Haynes and Keck battle it out. Keck wins that war. There's Walters outside to Ferry. Ferry's got a great touch. He scored 4 the other night against Salem. Ferry will play a little bit. Sends a beautiful through ball. A little too hard. Tough pace on that. Klein ran as hard as he could. No luck.
You mentioned Travis Ferry. Travis is a midfielder. He's a junior. It's his second year on the varsity. He was second-team All-District last year, and he has a GPA of 2.93.
Travis played a great game last year when we had him on TV. Good hustler, great touch, got a real strong left foot. Plays this left side very well. I think we'll see more of him today for sure. They've been playing a lot of right side so far.
Well, Scotty, I know you teach over at Kecoughtan, and the boys on at least the Kecoughtan team are well aware this is being televised, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're ready for it. They're vying for awards. Said they were going to come up big offsides. That time it was Ferry, and maybe a couple of other Warriors offsides. Good ball, however. Donatelli will send it out midfield. Controlled by Phoebus, number 4. That's Matt Evans, taken away by Ferry, and then Evans takes him out. That'll be a Kecoughtan free kick. Ferry hops up. This will be one game they probably won't stay down long on. They'll pop up on these games. They don't want to be taken out. They like the cameras. Haven't talked about Chris Hain much, Bob. He's going to put this one into play for Kecoughtan.
Chris Hain is certainly one of the fastest players on Kecoughtan's team.
Ball pops up into the air.
Chris Hain is
It'll be a corner.
Defender. He's a junior. It's his second year on the varsity. He was Rookie of the Year and MVP as a JV. He's a member of the Latin Club and Honor Society, the Key Club. He was the golf team Rookie of the Year, and he's got a GPA of 3.65, which makes him 64th in his class.
Stillwell sent that beautifully across the cage, but it was cleared by number 11, Jacob Nisbet. And we're going to have another one. Stillwell again. We'll watch how Kecoughtan sets up. Looks like they put somebody right on the keeper and right on the far post. That brings Phoebus back, and then they pull them all out. All the way across the cage. Keck narrowly misses. It's Taylor for Kecoughtan. Big save by Donatelli, and a finish, strong finish. Griffith out of nowhere, kind of hung at the top of the box. Good save by Donatelli, and Griffith came in and pounded it home. Nice rebound goal, nice cross to set it up. Kecoughtan goes up 2-0. Ian Taylor took the original shot that Donatelli saved. He'll get the assist. All started with a Stillwell cross on the corner. You get those corners, you're going to get goals.
With the assist by Ian
Keck sends it outside to Stillwell. Excuse me, that wasn't Stillwell. Stillwell got it the second time. That was Fenn, or Taylor, rather.
Scotty, with Phoebus down here 2-0 early, it's going to be interesting to see if they put more players on the attack.
The Warriors, you mean?
Yeah, with Phoebus only one striker for most of the time we've seen so far, and with them down 2-0, I wonder if they're going to try to jack up their offense a little bit here.
Well, unless we allow them to get the ball in our end for a little longer period of time. They did have a nice little pressure period there earlier, but they certainly need to score. But I don't know if Kecoughtan's going to allow them to handle the ball much in our end of the field. They haven't done a whole lot of that. Again, with this big win over Salem on Monday, I think Kecoughtan is really a much, much more confident team than they were a week ago. And with that confidence comes goals, and they seem to just keep adding up. Ferry goes down again. This will be another Warrior free kick. This time Haynes steps up to take it. Stillwell's much further back than normal. He and Chris are going to do something here. Kecoughtan's all lined up. Phoebus keeping him outside the box. There's Stillwell with a big cross, a beautiful cross. Donatelli comes out just in time to catch and clear. That was set up well.
Another big punt.
He definitely has the strong foot. Ball's cleared out by Vogel. Sister was a good player for the Lady Warriors a year or so ago.
She was an outstanding stopper, and also in the Peninsula Adult Soccer League. She was terrific.
She's a good kid. All right, Phoebus going to send it all the way down in the Kecoughtan end, give themselves a little breather. And that's Neil Wilson all the way out to the top of the box. He'll hold for a bit. He's got Vogel out there if he needs him, and he's just going to send one deep. Ball comes all the way out, and that's 17 Boyd Saunders. The header out. Ferry will throw this one in for the Warriors, I believe. Hope they're going to push him up. And Freddie Vogel will make the throw. Vogel sends it deep into the box for the Warriors. Stillwell looking for room. Great right foot. All the way across far post. Nobody home. Phoebus will bring it out. It was Curtis Usher hustling over there. Fenn to throw in again to the center of the box. Ferry looked to answer. Again, Griffith coming out of nowhere. He's got nice pace. He kind of sits back, waits, anticipates what's going to happen, and then makes a nice run. That's exactly how Griffith scored, and he almost got another one there, Bob.
He's a senior, Scotty. He's a midfielder, and this is his 3rd year on the varsity.
He's a good player. Scott Tinsley's just entered the game for Klein. Stillwell with a corner. Ferry looking for something special. No go. Nice ball and a beautiful header by Keck, just wide of the net. Couldn't have missed that by a yard or more.
Scott Tinsley, who just came into the game, is a dangerous scorer for Kecoughtan. He was a terrific player as a JV, was out of the program last year and is back, and I know he's going to be looking for a goal here.
Yeah, he's definitely ready. He suffered through a brutal injury. He got kicked early in the season, and he had an ugly shin, and it really had to sit out, which he doesn't like to do at all. But it was really a nasty-looking wound. He has recovered, though. He's got great speed. He's real tenacious up there. Fun player to watch. Missed that one. He'll be back. It's 23, Richard Wright, the 3rd. He's a captain for Phoebus. He'll send it down, and Hain will send it to the outside. Phoebus coming in now. 1v3, Griffith back to clear. Fenn, nice touch to the middle. That's Walters. Lots of room outside. Gives the ball to Ferry. Ferry might gotten away with one there, Phoebus. Looked like it hit him in the arm. But they'll bring it out. Send the ball up the middle. Here comes Keck. Nice touch and not a time now. He'll look outside probably to Fenn. Nope, a little too soon. Phoebus clears. Kecoughtan will throw in. Zach Fenn. Deep ball looking for Tinsley. It's Nisbet clears. Kecoughtan right back in. Tinsley trying to fight his way through. Gets knocked down, no call, and then kind of retaliates, and I think they got him. No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. That's the classic retaliation call. You don't see the first foul, you catch the second one.
Yeah, you gotta remember it's a long game. They send that ball out. This ball should be sent to Ferry, and is. Ferry will work the left side. He's got Stillwell. Nice touch. Stillwell 1v1 over there. Good ball to Tinsley. Tinsley lets it go. Cleared by the sweeper Nisbet. Tinsley's been replaced now. Nate Klein comes in quickly, I believe. There's Stillwell. Throw to the center of the box. Cleared by the Phantoms. And again, Griffith steps up. Missed that one by a little bit. He'll straighten it out. I think he got a smile down there from him. Can't hit them all right.
That one's a little bit high and wide.
Yeah,
just a bit outside.
We watch too many movies. Donatelli to send it back our way. To midfield. Ferry with a little push. He got caught. These officials, they try to get him under control pretty quickly if they can. These boys' games can get pretty wild if they don't. And it looks like he's going to do just that. This will send it in from midfield. That's Nisbet. Deep to the Kecoughtan end. Headed out by Vogel. Nice back kick there by Klein. That was pretty. Walters comes down left side, sends to Stillwell. Stillwell, little 1v1. Got beat that time. 23, Richard Wright for Phoebus, taken down from behind. But they're going to give it to the Warriors. That's Griffith to put it in play, and he does so quickly. Sends it on the other side, down to the middle. Donatelli will pick it up. Send it back to the Kecoughtan end. We do have an official attendance, I heard, Bob. What are we guessing?
According to our meteorologist, PA announcer, John Cerrone, who's been counting the attendance, we have an attendance of 104 at the moment.
That's solid. Whoops.
There are still seats available.
Ferry goes down. Although we do have a lot of people coming in. Could have been a lot of traffic coming in for this game as the boys played first.
That's
So
unusual. That's our first time calling the games this way.
I think we'll double this 104 before it's over. Little back kick by Klein. He's done some nifty things out there today. Kecoughtan. So we've got a sub coming in for the Warriors. Looks to be Tinsley again, back in for Klein. I think Mr. Holleran might have discussed the retaliation. We'll see if he can keep it under control here. Phoebus sends it back on Kecoughtan's end. That's Jonathan Nisbet. Sends it outside to Richard Wright. Right over to Stephen Bryant. And the Warriors take over. Into the play for Phoebus was Kyle Johnson. There's Griffith again. Nice run. Steps on the ball. Outside is Fenn. Going in a 1v2, and that's not going to work. Phoebus controlling. Griffith to the outside. And there's Ferry. Nice touch. Left foot all the way up to Stillwell. Just outside of his reach. And Phoebus will throw it back in.
How much of the Warrior domination of the ball so far would you attribute to the win, Scotty?
Well, I don't know. They seem to be trying to play a lot of two-touch early, but then they end up sending deep balls. So I guess the wind has been a helper. I think going into the wind, they'll still be all right, though, as they keep the ball on the ground and stay spread out. They look like they definitely play good position, and they're waiting for that through ball. It's hard to tell up here really how hard it's blowing. I'm watching the flags, and every now and then they seem to be full. I think the wind's picking up, though. The side judges' flags seem to be blowing pretty hard. Ball sent out by Ferry. Phoebus will throw in. That's Josh Parker. Throws it into Richard Wright. Fenn works it down into the Phoebus end. Donatelli.
We've mentioned Alex Donatelli several times. He's the keeper for Phoebus. He's a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. He participates in the ROTC program, Model General Assembly, and he says that his hobbies include BMX riding and eating. His GPA is 3.44.
Eating will work. You did bring the sandwiches today, right?
I did. We have the catering truck.
I hope so. A big lunch today. Here comes Fenn for the Warriors, and again, we always want to thank Channel 46 for doing this. It's great for the boys, great for the girls. Excuse me, breakaway. That's Tinsley in front. Good return by Phoebus. Great touch by Tinsley, and a beautiful save by Donatelli. Tinsley sent it right across the middle to Walters. Walters one touch, and Donatelli banged it over the top of his own goal. Very smart play, and Kecoughtan will come back with a corner. But I'm sure Phoebus will be happy to give them the corner. That ball should have been in the cage. Stillwell will put it into play. Kecoughtan sets up. Stillwell cleared by Nisbet. All the way out. Returned. Again, Phoebus tries to come back and recover, and they do. That's 17, Boyd Saunders, all the way up to the right side. Number 10, Jonathan Nisbet. He's 1v1 with Hain. Good defense by Hain to delay. No call, and he takes it away and goes the other way. Phoebus works it again, sends it out. This will be Kecoughtan ball. Very well done by Hain, and you said earlier in the telecast how quick he was, and he showed it there. He definitely got in front of Nisbet, forced him to slow down, and ended up winning that 1v1. Inbounds for Phoebus. This will be Matt Evans. Can you say inbounds? Is that a basketball term?
I think it's all right.
Good. Phoebus controls. It's Walters working on the other number 10, Jonathan Nisbet. They send it all the way back. Neil Wilson picks up in the Kecoughtan box. He's had a few touches today. Nice punt by Neil, and there looks like the wind was a factor, as he definitely sent that ball deep into the Phoebus end. Looks like we've got young Bowen as the ball boy on this side of the field. He's a JV player, very good JV player, and he's working on his skills as we speak. Ian Taylor has re-entered the game. Sorry about that, Bob. Griffin lets that one go through. Number 2, Josh Parker picks it up for Phoebus. Outside, I believe that's right. Kecoughtan foul on Tinsley. Phoebus looking to send this ball in. They bring up Jacob Nisbet to take these kicks from the back. Probably looking for his brother. He's number 10 right there at the top of the box. And cleared out by Keck. Phoebus will throw in, and now they've put a little pressure on Kecoughtan. Still waiting on their first shot here. Ball sent out to Tinsley. Tinsley will send it upfield. That's Stillwell. Stillwell works the defender and loses that battle to Kyle Johnson. Johnson sends it back Kecoughtan's way. Griffith again is there. He'll send it up the outside. That's Tinsley. Tinsley's got 4 or 5 runners and 2 Phoebus players back. They were looking for a break and a run and almost got one. Ferry controls. He's going to look for that big left foot and does. And sent that ball back to Kecoughtan. Good turn, just didn't quite get the body around. Donatelli will put this back into play. Goal kick for Phoebus. See the trainer over there for Kecoughtan. That's Robert Hatcher. Does a fantastic job with all the sports at Kecoughtan. I can't imagine that they all work as hard as he does, the hours he puts in. And it's just great to have a certified athletic trainer at all the events. I know all the Warriors appreciate Robert and the job that he does from early morning to late at night and on the weekends as well. I know I appreciated him as a coach.
Well, I appreciate him as a parent of a Kecoughtan soccer player as well. It was nice to know that somebody had medical knowledge, was right down on there, right on the field.
Yeah, he'll take the time to get it right. Stillwell is going to put this corner into play. This is probably the 5th corner or thereabouts for Kecoughtan. Sends that ball low. Sent out to the top of the box. Klein looks to turn. Sent it out to Vogel, who had tripped. Stillwell works it in the corner. Phoebus lets it out. And we'll have a goal kick from Donatelli again. And Donatelli's getting a workout today, Bob.
He really is, but other than that loose ball in the box a little earlier, that was really the only mistake that he's had back there, even though he's been under constant attack.
Deep ball sent out by number 5 for Kecoughtan. That's Vogel. Phoebus will throw in again, and they are working the wind in that they're putting the ball deep and outside on the corners and forcing Phoebus to throw that ball in and try to work it through the wind to get it down the field. That's number 4, Matt Evans for Phoebus. Sends it. Hain recovering for the Warriors to Stillwell. Nice touch. Pretty play by Tinsley. On the outside, that's Walters. Off of Phoebus, that's Kecoughtan ball. Walters will send it. Fenn making a nice run for the Warriors, but he's covered by 3 Phantoms. They throw it to him anyways, and this may work as they run from behind. Taylor.
Ian Taylor almost had a chance there. He's a midfielder and a forward. He's a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity, and he's an Eagle Scout.
Wow. Put some work into that. This will be Matt Evans throwing in again for Phoebus. Looks like a substitution for the Phantoms. Josh Parker's leaving the game.
Matt Evans, who's about to throw in as a midfielder and a senior. It's his 3rd year on the varsity. He's a member of the National Honor Society and the Key Club. He has a GPA of 3.7. He's 23rd in his class, and he will attend Virginia Commonwealth University.
All right. The Rams.
Right there in beautiful downtown Richmond.
Absolutely. Big fire there last week. That was last month. That was scary.
Right on the edge of their campus.
Stillwell sends it back. Nice touch to Tinsley. Tinsley will play one-on-one. Back to Tinsley. Or whoops. Tinsley recovers nicely. Griffith. Little push from behind. 23 for Phoebus. That's their captain, Richard Wright III. Jacob Nisbet once again will come up to take the free kick. Good touch for Phoebus, and this might work. Keeper Neil Wilson.
Neil Wilson is a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity.
Sends that ball all the way through, and Tinsley heads it all the way to the other end of the field, and The opposing keeper, Alex Donatelli, will put it back into play. And that he does. Sends a big ball. Harmlessly removed by Vogel.
I think we had a little bit of a lifted boot there. Yeah. That's the foul there.
Yeah, he saw some cleat. Hain quick to send it out, looking for Fenn. Fenn lets that one travel through. Donatelli comes out. He'll clear back to the Warriors.
Scotty, so far this game has been free of a lot of the chippy fouls we've seen in some previous years and matches between these two teams.
Yeah, that's true, and hopefully it'll stay that way. These kids are very athletic, fast, and strong, and when they start pushing and tripping, it can be dangerous in a hurry. And you don't want that early in the year. You don't want it ever, but early in the year especially, you know, you get a red card and miss a game, or somebody gets hurt, and it really can cost you an awful lot. So hopefully they'll keep it this way, 2-0. Usually they don't get too wild until it gets out of hand. In this game, it doesn't look like it's going to. Phoebus continues to play the way they're playing, holding their own. Clear out. They try to hold at midfield. They send it outside to Evans. Evans looks to send it up. Nice ball. Very nice touch. That's Nisbet. Nisbet looking to work on Vogel. Vogel sends back to Hain, and Hain fires it out to midfield. And now we've got a run. That's Fenn trying to work his way through. Phoebus has a little miscommunication. Fenn grabs a little and gets away with it.
You mentioned
Phoebus.
Freddie Vogel. Freddie's a senior. It's his third year on the varsity. He's in the Key Club. He has a GPA of 3.75, and he is thinking about either James Madison or Virginia Tech.
Stillwell started on the far right side, Bob, and it looks as though they've moved him back to the outside mid, and they've moved Fenn up to a center forward position with Tinsley. Fenn started out as an outside, as an inside midfielder, and now they've got him moved up to the front. So a little different tactic by Kecoughtan. Putting Stillwell on the left. Once again, Evans, he's had a lot of touches today. Sends the ball back to number 20, Jonathan Haug. Haug sends it outside. 17, that's Saunders. In comes Keck to bump that away. Vogel carries up a little too far. That's 23, Wright. Wright's looking for somebody through and finds Nisbet. Well played ball. Nisbet good control. He'll send it to the outside, and they'll send it clear across the Kecoughtan cage. And there again is that far post. You got to have somebody there.
You mentioned Adam Stillwell, who was just chasing that one right there. He's a junior. It's his second year on the varsity. As a JV, he was named Best Offensive Player. He also runs cross country, and his grade point average is 3.5.
Good deal. Ryan Schmidt is going to enter the game for the Warriors here shortly. Mike Walters will return as well. Looks like Stillwell's leaving, and Griffith will get a much-deserved rest. He's played well. Freddie Vogel to throw it in for the Warriors. Does so. Tinsley sends it into the middle of the box. Clear back to Tinsley. Tinsley to Fenn. The ball sent out by Taylor. Donatelli again to put it into play. We've gotten down to the 8-minute mark. Donatelli sends it out in midfield. Ball not quite as deep as it had been in the past. Klein picked it up quickly and sent it to Fenn. Fenn will work the outside line. Still working one-on-one, a nice move. Now he's got about 2 or 3 on him. That'll work in our Kecoughtan's favor, excuse me. Fenn throws that ball center of the box, looking for somebody, and there's Tinsley. He's trying to turn, look for a left footer, and does, just wide of the cage. Donatelli had that side covered. Good effort by Tinsley.
Good strong left foot.
Donatelli again to send it away. There's a big box coming up the stairs. Maybe we have more food. Header to the middle of the field. That's 17, Saunders. They work the ball back to Nisbet, who sends it back again to midfield. Nisbet's brother out there. Number 12, Greg Haynes to Wright. right looking for a runner. Saw one but couldn't find him. Ferry intercepts. He'll send it up to Tinsley. Tinsley looks for a run from Ferry. Decides to turn and send it center. And again, Phoebus controls in the middle. There's Walters. Walters to the outside. Nisbet comes back for Phoebus to control. Tries to split. Sends the ball far side. Eluding a sliding Ferry. Kecoughtan will throw in at their top of their box.
As long as Chris Hain, who is just so fast, is playing deep sweeper, I think Phoebus is going to have a very difficult time throwing the ball over the top and trying to run it down.
Yeah, I don't see him getting beat 1v1 at all. He's real quick and he's sharp. He anticipates well. Seems to be first to the ball. Most occasions there. He tried to do a little too much. Nisbet to the top, and they'll send a long ball even longer. One of their first attempted shots today. Neil Wilson allows Hain to put this one into play. Goal kick for the Warriors. Up 2-0 with now just over 5 minutes to play. And the crowd getting larger.
It'll be interesting to see what changes Coach Wilt makes at halftime for his Phoebus team.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think the key right now is to make sure we can play 5 minutes and not let it get to 3. I think there's a huge difference between 2 and 3. You get down 3 goals and you've really got to work. If you get down 2, getting just the 1 really changes the momentum and puts the pressure on the team that had the lead. And Kecoughtan was ahead of Kellam early in the year 2-0. So for Phoebus to go into halftime down 2-0 really isn't a hole they can't get out of. And you just really try to regroup and get that goal and put your opponent back on their heels. Looks like Tinsley's leaving the game for the Warriors. This is Walters up the left side. Sends it across, and this might work. Stillwell off the post. Donatelli scrambles back, and Walters comes right back into the play to score for the Warriors. Brilliant hustle. Looks like the keeper might be hurt. I hope not. Great goal by Kecoughtan. They really scrambled. Stillwell put it off the post. Donatelli was flailing all over, making 2 or 3 good saves in there. And Walters just refused to quit, slid in and made a pretty play to get the goal for Kecoughtan. And I think Donatelli probably got hit, but it seems that he might be more mad that they scored than anything else. He's getting up and looks like a tough keeper. Stillwell hit the post, and Walters finished.
Goal by Mike Walters, Kecoughtan.
Mike Walters is a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity. He's a member of the National Honor Society, the German Honor Society, and he represented Kecoughtan at Boys State. He has a grade point average of 3.68, and he'll be attending either CNU or Longwood.
Well, we just got through saying how big that 3rd goal was, and I really believe that this could really set them back. There's Fenn heading into the box, full of steam, a lot of confidence again for Kecoughtan, and now you get that goal and you get to within 3-1, and it's still not nearly as effective as being 1 goal away.
Well, Kecoughtan's last 2 goals, Scotty, have really been on loose balls in the box that Phoebus has been unable to clear. There's very little a keeper can do when the ball is just bounding around and he can't get his grasp on it.
And he continues to reach for his head. I got a feeling he got knocked somewhere. He keeps grabbing at his nose. Tough scramble in there, but Donatelli doesn't look like he wants to come out. Big clear to midfield. Ferry working with Evans over there. Evans sends it down the sideline. That's number 12 for Phoebus, Greg Haynes. Vogel will throw it back in for Kecoughtan. They'd love to get 1 more, I know that. Saunders sends it down into the Kecoughtan box. Wilson will control.
You mentioned Greg Haynes several times for Phoebus. He's a forward. He's a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity. He also plays golf, and he'll be off to Old Dominion University.
How about those Monarchs? Ferry sends it down the left touch line. It's Stillwell. Evans sends it out for Phoebus. Nice dive by Saunders. Fenn working his way through, but we got a call. Phoebus will put it down and send it back Kecoughtan's way in a hurry. but not quick enough as Ferry recovers for the Warriors. Sends a nice through ball, redirected by Nisbet off of Evans' leg and out. And Kecoughtan again will throw it in one more time. Vogel, he's had his share of throw-ins on this side. Nisbet's had some work there. Number 11, the sweeper. He's doing a nice job. That's Jacob. Here comes Stillwell. He'll throw this one in. He's got some run working. That's Fenn in the middle. He finds him. Nice trap. A little too crowded, and Evans will clear for Phoebus. Evans out to Nisbet. Nisbet sends it off of Vogel's leg. This time Phoebus will throw in.
Well, we're down to 2 minutes now in the half. Kecoughtan shows no sign of letting up the assault they've put on so far.
No, they're going to continue to work, and again, they really were pumped up for the district to start. I think they understood that they had a lot of learning to do at the beginning of the year, and they had to come together, and they really did on Monday against Salem, and I think we're seeing it now. You know, they believe in each other, they believe in the coach, and boy, that makes all the difference in the world. You can have a lot of talent, but if you're not playing together, it just doesn't always work. So they'll try to work it out here. That's Fenn. Fenn, great takeaway, and he's got a streaking Klein up the right side and Stillwell in the center. Tries to find Klein and does. Klein looks to go one-on-one, ball taken away from by Kyle Johnson. They control, but not anymore, as once again Walters takes charge in the center of the field. He sends it out to Stillwell. Stillwell working the left side. He's got 2 on. Let's see what he can do. Nice touch. Beautiful ball, actually. And that almost worked. It was a great ball. Looked as though Taylor thought the Phoebus player was going to make a play on the ball.
Scotty, as we come to an end in the half, let me speak for a second about Richard Wright of Phoebus. He's a midfielder, a senior. It's his 4th year on the varsity. He's a co-captain. He also plays select soccer and runs indoor track.
All right, Phoebus to control. Again, getting within 2 is huge, and they've got a minute or so. We haven't had any injuries. And that's the half, Bob.
Good
Nice.
solid half for the Warriors.
Yes, it was. We finish up 3-0. Good.
What? Bailey. Bailey and Tyson are up there. Throw!
All right, Bob, we're back. Begin the second half shortly here. We do have a few things we'd like to talk about. Kecoughtan's got a 3-0 lead, and we'd like to mention again, thank you to Channel 46, WHCS. Mike Nowinski's up here in the booth with us. Nathaniel Braxton doing a great job with the camera as usual. Scotty Bowers back at the station. And we want to thank Trophy World and Tidewater Team Sports, who provided us with Player of the Game shirts and trophies today. Bob?
Scotty, as far as that goes, why don't you pick the Kecoughtan player, and I'll take the Phoebus player for this game.
All right, I'll be glad to. And let's recap those 3 goals for the Warriors.
And actually, before we do that, let's update our attendance. We're up to 152, according to our statistics department.
I said we were going to blow by 200. They're coming. It was traffic.
Now, let's talk, while we have a minute here, about the Chris Tromley alumni game. What's the date of that this year?
Date of that this year, Bob, is going to be June 12th, which is a Saturday. If it does rain, it's going to be June 13th. So it's kind of nice. School's still in, so the locals will all still be here, and the high school players will still be here, and hopefully all the alumnus will come back and play. It's just a fabulous day, a fabulous game. Barb and Jean Tromley are just wonderful, and they've done so much for everything at Kecoughtan. We've just got new benches, a scoreboard, a flagpole at our field at Kecoughtan, all in honor of Christopher and also Gordon Broski. We did dedicate one of the benches to Gordon Broski over at the field as well.
I want to mention that thanks to the generous donations of people to the Chris Tromley Memorial Scholarship Fund, and there's now more than $30,000 in that fund.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I know that last year the girls' winner was Bristol Bowman, and she went to Randolph-Macon and really made the most of that. Started every game for field hockey and really was a very proud recipient of that scholarship award.
And there'll be a car wash this spring as well to gain money. I helped wash cars last year, and in 4 hours we made around $1,500 for the scholarship fund.
It's an awful lot of support, and it just keeps on going, and that's the way it should be. Wonderful.
Getting back to the game, Kecoughtan is already attacking the goal. That was a lovely header try there.
Yeah, that was Stillwell on the corner that sent it across, and Keck fired it just over the top of the net, but a pretty header then nevertheless. A beautiful cross by Stillwell, who danced his way out of the box.
Will Keck is a senior. It's his first year on the varsity. He also is a varsity golfer, and he's not sure about college yet.
I believe he's thinking about possibly firefighting. Fenn works the ball on the outside for Kecoughtan. I believe that's still Donatelli in the net for Phoebus. So apparently that injury wasn't too bad. He's probably got a little headache. We think that maybe after thinking about it and watching it again and discussing with some of the others in the booth that possibly one of his own players had hit him in that scramble in front of the net. Phoebus will clear. That's Kyle Johnson all the way down to Hain. Hain sends it back to a Phoebus player. That's right, but out comes quickly Mike Walters. Walters with a nifty move to split two Phantoms. He's going to continue to hold. He's got Stillwell running, sends it to a retreating Klein. That ball comes back to the outside, and Kecoughtan will throw it in. Number 11, Ian Taylor.
Let's review our first half scoring. We had 3 goals for the Warriors. The first by Stillwell on an assist by Klein. The second by Griffith on an assist by Taylor. And the last one unassisted by Walters.
All pretty hustling goals for the Warriors. They definitely didn't allow Phoebus room to clear and picked up loose balls and sent them back in. Phoebus will send this ball. Now they've got the wind at their back, and we talked about it early in the first half, whether or not it would make a difference. And we'll see early if Phoebus can try to maintain some control in the Kecoughtan end, whether or not they've added another forward to try to put pressure on Kecoughtan down 3-0. They certainly have to do something quick here. There's Klein up top. Looks for Walters and finds him. Walters has room and time. An on-running Griffin. That's a nice touch. He's got someone on the outside. Decides to send it center. That's Stillwell with 3 on. Little flip that'll probably end up over the line, and does. Phoebus will send that back in.
Did we end up with a change in keeper for Kecoughtan, or do we still have the same keeper from the first half?
That's the same.
Keeper has not changed.
Ferry going to control on the outside for Kecoughtan. He's looking for a runner. Walters pointed and went there. A nice touch, and he's got someone wide open on the outside. That's Ian Taylor. And a hustling Nisbet comes back, and Kecoughtan will have another corner. And the last one again was beautiful. It was Stillwell to Keck. And we see Freddie Vogel actually making a run up now. Looks like he's going to take that spot. Might have been Vogel the first time, now that I look at it. They stand up at the top of the box, and they make runs in. Low ball in that time, and Stillwell hangs his head. He knows he kind of miskicked that one. He'll get another chance later, I'm sure. For Phoebus number 12, that's Greg Haynes. Donatelli handles the ball for Phoebus. Carries to the top and into the wind punt. Still manages to cross midfield. Switch directions. That was Wilson. I'm losing it, Bob. I should be real sharp for the girls' game. Donatelli and Wilson are dressed very much alike. Try to get out of that with that. Phoebus to send in. Trying to get it in the right spot here. Number 11, Jacob Nisbet. Sends it down to the middle, all the way through. That's Wilson handling that. Big punt by Neal. We haven't talked about Zach Fenn, Bob. I know he's a sophomore. He's in one of my classes.
He is a sophomore, you're right. It's his second year on the varsity. He was honorable mention all-district. Also participated in the state ODP program. He's a member of the Key Club. He runs cross-country. Member of the FCA, Operation Smile. His grade point average is a big 4.19, which makes him 8th in his class.
And he just sent a beautiful ball, as you talked about him, to the middle. Mishandled by Walters. Nice defensive play by Phoebus. Outside they send. That's number 7, Curtis Usher. Sending it out for Phoebus. Fenn will throw it back in. We played soccer the other day in PE, and I wouldn't let him shoot inside the box, but it didn't slow him down. He still took care of us easily. It's being sent back out. I don't know if that was an illegal throw or what happened there. It's going to be Phoebus ball anyways. That's Curtis Usher with the bright blue shoes. Easy to spot. Usher sends it in. Klein sends it down. Stillwell making a run. May end up with it. Nope. Cleared by Phoebus. Ian Taylor looking to send it for Kecoughtan, and does.
I think those blue shoes rival the ones Bo Thompson wore out here one year for Kecoughtan, which we pronounced the wildest soccer shoes we'd ever seen.
Yeah, he did win shoes of the game. They were great. He's the only one I got his name right the whole time. They should have all learned from that and gotten different colored shoes. That would have been a lot better. Chris Hayne send this one Phoebus's way. Into the wind. Manages to get it out to midfield. Header by Taylor. Fenn falls down but recovers quickly. And he'll come out of the scramble with it. Finds Taylor on the outside. Taylor looking for a runner and finds him, and Stillwell. Retreating is Kyle Johnson for Phoebus. He's going to work the sideline. Ball won't go out. Sends it back to the sweeper and out to Fenn. Fenn sends it in. Handled fairly well by Donatelli. Shot on goal. Donatelli again with the wind at his back. Sends that ball out. And Fenn returns the favor. Phoebus sends it all the way back into the KHS zone. Hayne lets that one go to Wilson.
Scotty, who do we have playing outside defense for Kecoughtan at this point? I know we have Chris Hayne playing sweeper. Who are the other defenders?
Outside defenders, that's Will Keck, number 7, on our side, and Freddie Vogel is on the far side for Kecoughtan.
They have certainly controlled the defense so far. I really don't recall Phoebus having a shot on goal so far.
No. Had one that they blasted over the top, but it was from well outside the box, and we'll certainly give those up if that's what we have to do. A good idea. Hit the Phoebus player in the back of the leg. Stillwell to throw it in. He's got Keck wide open behind him if he needs him. And Phoebus, we talked about how many forwards they'd send. You can look at it right now and see they're pretty much putting 9 in the box. Sent back to Keck. Keck, big looper into the Phoebus box. Fenn has some time and space. He's got Klein behind. Tries to force one into the box that Phoebus clears. Klein controls far side. Sends it through. Great run by Walters. Good defensive play by the Phantoms to clear. There's 23. That's right. Griffith in the middle of the field for Kecoughtan. Takes his time. Phoebus defenders come in, and he sends out to Keck. Keck to the middle to Walters. Walters can't handle, and 17 for Phoebus. That's Saunders, sends it in Kecoughtan's way. Vogel back. There's Fenn down the sideline. That's a Nate Klein, and he can run forever, Bob. He's cross country, and as are a few of these Kecoughtan players. If they ever get into an overtime match, they've got 3 or 4 that not only run cross country but are in the top 5.
Well, you mentioned Nate Klein. He's a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity. He is the cross-country captain. He's been the captain the last 2 years. He was 2nd team All-District, the MVP of the team twice, and he has a grade point average of 3.0.
Outstanding. And I know that Stillwell and Cerrone and Fenn also run cross-country, so they're definitely in shape when it gets to this point in the year.
Well, Kecoughtan has quite a cross-country program under Coach Ralph Safford, usually having more than 70 runners on the team, which frequently is more runners than the rest of the district teams combined.
That's amazing. I don't know. He must do some sort of motivational thing to get those people to run 3.5 miles and end up in the same place they started. I never could understand it.
Looks like we are going to see a number of new faces in for Kecoughtan. Everybody is up and loosening up.
Chris Hayne sends it outside to Ian Taylor. Taylor lets that one go through. Wright throws it in for Phoebus, back to Evans. Evans sends it across. Should be handled in the box there by Wilson. And yes, Kecoughtan's got him up and running. A lot of red over there kind of scared me for a minute. I thought Gloucester had come into town. That's never a good thing. Sends the ball out. Evans will send it back in. Hayne controls for Kecoughtan. Tries to move it to the outside. Sends it long to Klein. Klein will come backwards a little bit. Take his time. Back into Griffith. Griffith outside. Nice touch by Taylor. There's Wright for Phoebus. Nice ball. On running blue shoes of Curtis Usher. Usher sends it back in. Vogel sends it out for Kecoughtan.
Curtis Usher, whose shoes we've been admiring, is a
Nice
sophomore.
touch, nice run by Fenn. Sorry, Bob.
It's all right. It's Usher's first year on the varsity. His grade point average is 3.98, and he is 13th in his class.
3.98. I had to add him up to get a 3.98. All 4 years, that's right. Stillwell with the free kick. I did spend 11 years in college to get my PE degree. Pretty solid.
Well, the scary educational number of the week is I was in Charlottesville over the weekend, and next year's incoming freshman class at the university has an average SAT of 1,400.
Wow. Once again, I would have had to add a few up.
One of my law partners went to UVA, and his comment was that he could only get in there now if he could take the SAT twice and they count both of them.
That's it. Ball sent all the way down into the Kecoughtan end. Chris Hain handles easily, sends it outside to Keck. Keck back to Hain, who lets it go through to Griffith. Griffith up to Walters. He sends back to Keck again. This one's picked off by Evans. Back to the middle, and he'll work it back to right. Kecoughtan surrounds. Good play by Stillwell. Fenn with a whiff, but he'll still control. We'll call that a fake. Looks like somebody's on the right side, and that's Taylor, and he is, and Fenn finds him. Taylor sends it all the way back across the box. Stillwell looking to rip one, and does. Donatelli makes a nice diving save and holds on. That was an instance where they said they like to get the ball to the middle and then back to the outside and look for that big far post ball. Looks pretty good there for a minute.
More people are continuing to flow in. We're looking for an updated stat on attendance here in just a little while.
See the varsity girls teams, at least Kecoughtan's, I believe, has arrived. Fenn goes down. Call goes against Fenn. This will be a free kick for Phoebus. 21, Kyle Johnson was the one who went down. But I believe it'll be Nesbitt that takes the kick. Jacob Nesbitt out to Griffith. Kecoughtan will be sending everybody in, and I'm sure some of these players will come out, but the ones who will be coming in, I know Mike Mazonki's one of the Warriors that'll be entering the game. Bob, what do we know about Mike?
Mike is a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. He was co-captain of the JV team where he was defensive MVP. He's a golfer. He's first team all-district, qualified for the state golf tournament, and has a grade point average of 3.52.
All right, and there's a couple of the substitutions already for the Warriors. I see leaving the game is Nate Klein and also Adam Stillwell, who was going to take the corner. Fenn has stepped up to take the corner for Kecoughtan.
It's like Jordan Christ just
Ryan
came into the
Cerrone
game.
And Ryan Cerrone.
We'll talk about Jordan Christ for a second. He's a senior. He's a forward. It's his second year on the varsity. I'll hold till we get this corner kick.
Fenn to put into play. Actually, they're going to switch that now, and this will be Walters. Phoebus runs on and takes the ball. I've never seen that. Kind of cool. Nobody's put a whistle on it. Keck sends into Griffith. Phoebus now running. That's Saunders. Looking for Nisbet. Taken away by Hain. Again, quick to the ball.
Scotty, you and I are soccer coaches, and we're a little puzzled by that last play. We have some other coaches up here in the booth, and maybe somebody will explain it to us.
Yeah, the John Bailey and John Cerrone, what's the scoop down there, guys?
Took that ball as soon as it was touched before Mikey Walters could get over there to play it.
All right. Ball was touched by a Kecoughtan player. All right.
Put it in rotation and probably said you take it, and hope that Phoebus would sleep through that, and very, very sharp for them to come and get that ball and take it away.
Wholesale substitutions for Kecoughtan. We'll try to get the numbers, the new players, and talk about them. Let me finish the thought I started on Jordan Christ, if I could, Scotty. He participates in youth and government. He's president of the Model General Assembly. He's also in Model Judiciary, Model United Nations. He's the Latin Club vice president. Also participates in the Science Club, the Key Club, the Principals Advisory Committee. His grade point average is 3.0. And I know every year you and I love to hear people going to unusual colleges. And among his choices are Brigham Young, but not the one you're used to. The campuses in either Hawaii or Idaho. or Southern Virginia University. And I got to tell you, Jordan, if my choice was between Idaho and Hawaii, it would be pretty obvious.
Absolutely. And what was number 3? The third choice?
The third choice was Southern Virginia University. And Jordan, I've been to Hawaii, and you need to go.
That would work, Hawaii. Where would you go on a vacation if you lived in Hawaii?
Well, it's something I'd have to deal with, and I believe I could.
Absolutely.
Idaho.
Idaho.
Excellent.
For a little peace and quiet. Scott Curran, I know, is in the game also for Kecoughtan. Bobby's number 23.
Scott Curran is a midfielder. He's a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. He was the most improved JV player. He's a cross-country co-captain, participates in the Principals Advisory Committee, the Spanish Honor Society. He's second in his class with a grade point average of 4.3.
4.3, and I apologize to Scott. I didn't mention him when I mentioned the cross-country runners. So when I said 3 or 4, I should have said, I guess, 5 or 6. And again, they really, a lot of the top runners are all right here on the field today. And obviously, it translates from sport to sport. You've got to be in shape to play this game. And these kids certainly are.
I see Paul Landon is on the field now. Paul Landon is a sophomore, his first year on the varsity. He plays midfield. He's captain of his select team. He participates in Operation Smile, the French Club and Honor Society. He's got a grade point average of 4.14, which makes him 10th in his class.
Excellent. Excuse me. Donatelli picks that up for Phoebus. He'll send the other way. We've got the same backs that started the game are still in for Kecoughtan. We still have Hain, Vogel, and Keck back there.
And we mentioned Ryan Cerrone. Ryan's father, John, is up here in the booth with us doing the PA. Ryan had the unusual honor of making the varsity as a freshman, which doesn't happen very often at Kecoughtan. He's now a sophomore. It's his second year on the varsity. He was a JV co-captain. He won the Hustler Award. He's captain of his select team. Participates in Key Club, the Fox Hill Youth Engagement Team, the Cross Country, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. His grade point average is 4.15, and he's 9th in his class.
And he had a very famous sister at Kecoughtan.
His sister Selena played on my Winter League team this year and was our leading scorer, and in the championship match put in both of our goals for the win, including one in overtime. She's up in William & Mary now and is a delightful person.
I was lucky enough to coach her as well. Great touch. Also, the Cerrones are in charge of a fabulous website available to everybody that can really keep you posted on the alumni games and the other events that they have done for the Trombley Scholarship. It is members.cox.net/soccerfamily, SOCRFMLY/KHS, which must be capitalized, 2004. And it is a great site. It's got the history of the boys and the girls program at Kecoughtan, and keeps you abreast of what's going on currently in the standings. And a neat site. Glad they did it. I know it had to be a ton of work.
Well, there are match summaries for every game, including the JV teams, and it really is a good way to keep up with the soccer program at Kecoughtan, and of course all the players like to see their name on the website.
Absolutely. Photos as well. Bradner threw that one into Cerrone, who touched it back, and Bradner sent it over the end line. Giving the ball back to Phoebus, and Donatelli will send it out. We have some more subs now in the back. We've got Tinsley back into the game. He's sweeping right now. And also into the game, I've noticed Alejandro. Nicholas Alejandro is on the far side. That's him with the ball. Sending it to the other 17. That's Saunders who sends it out. And also, I believe, is that Mike Mazzocchi? No, I'm sorry, 21 is into the game for Kecoughtan.
These substitutions have made calling the play-by-play a bit more of a challenge, isn't that right, Scotty?
Absolutely, and I do know some of them, but that 21 is Mike Mazzocchi, but they list him as number 1, so they're really screwing me up.
You mentioned Nick Alejandro. He's a junior. He plays defense. It's his first year on the varsity. He was Rookie of the Year as a JV. He also plays on the vastly improved Kecoughtan football team. He's a member of the Key Club, and his grade point average is 3.2.
Does a nice job. There he is stopping that ball. Ball sent in to Alejandro, who sends it, to the outside. This is going to be tough, but I'll get him. That was Jordan Christ. Jared Williams is entered the game for Kecoughtan as well, number 19. This ball comes out to Mazonki. He's got Bradner on the right side, taken away by Phoebus, but sent out, so Kecoughtan will recover with this ball.
You mentioned Aaron Bradner. He's a junior, a midfielder. It's his first year on the varsity. He participates in Key Club, runs on the cross-country team, and he's got a grade point average of 3.54. Both of his sisters were excellent varsity players for the Kecoughtan girls team, with Megan Bradner being a Daily Press All-Star and also the All-District team.
Yeah, she played, 4 years of varsity and started very early in her freshman career for me in the way back as a sweeper, and she was always very, very steady. Nice player.
They're both off at Virginia Tech now.
Doing that hokey thing. You're a big Tech fan, aren't you, Bob?
No, I can't say that I am. Having paid 7 years of tuition for my daughters at UVA, I don't think I'm a Tech fan.
It's somebody to beat. Where would we be without Gloucester?
We can talk about that for a long time as to where we'd be without Gloucester. As you and I have mentioned on this telecast before, our favorite thing at Gloucester is seeing it in the rearview mirror.
You know it. I'll pay whatever it takes to go over that bridge so long as I'm coming back this way. Is this the first corner for Phoebus? I believe it is. Sends the ball up high. Harmlessly through, maybe. No. Return. Tinsley gets in the way of that. Bradner clears. Well done. One of the problems Phoebus has had is getting it out of their box. Kecoughtan did a nice job of getting rid of that one quickly. Tinsley again heads that all the way up. Cerrone touches and continues that. Nice stop by Cerrone to Bradner. Looks like a give and go, and it is. Again, they send it back to each other. Good work. Send it deep into the Phoebus end. That's Jared right there running on the ball. Zonky gets up high for that. Working in the middle of the field. That was number 20, Paul Landon for Kecoughtan. Sent back in by Ryan Schmidt. Landon again. Kyle Johnson will handle it for Phoebus. Sends it up the outside to Evans, who's played a nice game for the Phantoms. Evans gets through one, but can't go through them all. Number 10 for Phoebus, Jonathan Nisbet. Sends that ball through. Wilson comes out to take care of that problem.
That's really the first serious mistake that has been made by the Kecoughtan defense.
Yeah, they've been solid, and this group that's in right now, Alejandro and Mazonki and Tinsley, have picked up where the other three left off. They're doing a nice job. There's Bradner with a nice feed from Cerrone. Bradner will take it all the way end line. That might be a corner. Should be and is. Good call. Do we know who the officials are, Bob?
Actually, we only know two of the names. I need a little help, Coach Bailey, if you could help me, the officials. John Bagnone is the center official today. Antonio Arezia is on the far line, and I don't think we're sure of who the near side official is.
I don't know, but that was Jared Williams sending a ball across, and Alejandro slammed it home for the Warriors from the top of the box, and they're pumped up. That's great. This group has not dropped off one notch. Phoebus has not done a lot of subbing. Kecoughtan pretty much came in full bore, put 10 more on the field, and they've done outstanding so far. That was a beautiful goal. Cleared it all the way through the box, and Alejandro was right there to run up and rip one. Nice goal, nice shot. It's a lot of depth that Kecoughtan is showing right now.
Kecoughtan, Scotty, unless I'm missing something here, has an entirely new 10 on the field.
Absolutely. And they seem to be playing very, very well as well. I imagine if they practice as a unit, you can see it as spacing is good. They know where they are. Up front, Bradner and Cerrone have done lots of give and go and two-touch passing very effectively to get that corner set up.
You mentioned Jared Williams, who is a sophomore midfielder. It's his first year on the varsity. He's also a member of the TSA club and on the golf team.
Coached by Brian Hebert, by the way. Little slip at midfield by Aaron Bradner, but he gets right back up. Cerrone tries to control and does. Nice touch again to Bradner. Those two have worked well today, as we said earlier. Here's Wright for Phoebus, and Phoebus has got to be getting a little bit weary at this point. Going against fresh legs is difficult. A couple of the players for Phoebus that haven't gotten out there yet, Bob. Number 13, Christopher Schwartz.
He's a junior, a member of the National Honor Society, the Math Honor Society, the French Club. He's the kicker on the varsity football team. His grade point average is 4.04, and that makes him 7th in his class.
And the reason he's not out there, Bob, is he's broken his foot. He's on the bench with crutches. He's going to miss some time this year. Another one that's out with an injury is Alex Pope, number 14.
Alex Pope is a midfielder. He's a sophomore. It's his first year on the varsity. He participates in youth and government, the youth commission, and his grade point average is 4.2. Another wild play in the box there for Kecoughtan.
Good hustle by Bradner, and Kecoughtan gets off a shot at the top of the box after a little push off from Landon, and unfortunately he was caught.
This is difficult for Phoebus because they were already down 3-0, and now Kecoughtan is putting 10 people who don't get to play as much, and for them this is a great scoring opportunity. It's 10 sets of fresh legs, and they want to score.
And they've done so already, and it looks like they may add some more if they continue. They really are playing well as a unit. Phoebus has got to be getting tired as they get down to the final 12 minutes. And very few subs, as we mentioned, 2 out with injuries. Demetrius Barnes, number 9 for Phoebus, is also a starter. He's away on a school trip in Georgia. There's Alejandro controlling. Sends it off number 2, Josh Parker. Don't know if we've mentioned Josh today. He's played most of the day.
Josh is a sophomore. It's his first year on the varsity. His hobbies are skateboarding and piano.
Cool. Different combination. I guess I would have kept playing the piano. Great through ball, but offsides.
We've also mentioned Boyd Saunders' name for Phoebus several times. He's a senior defender. It's his second year on the varsity, and he plans on going to Thomas Nelson, where our good friend Shirley Pippins was president until recently.
Another Phantom who hasn't gotten on the field had Donatelli been hurt, they would have brought in Gerald Wydra, a keeper for Phoebus. He's number 8, I believe, is what they listed.
He's a junior. It's his 3rd year on the varsity. His hobbies are baseball, bowling, and the culinary arts.
Maybe he'll bring us dinner. There's Wright sending it to the outside. Alejandro on it quickly. He'll send it out, and Phoebus will throw it in. And again, they've got some wind at their back, and there's no quit in them, that's for sure. They're still hustling and giving it all they've got. Now they've got an opportunity at the Kecoughtan end to see if they can create something. Number 6 is Stephen Bryant for Phoebus. He's at the top of the box. Looks like he might be the target. Big throw, and it was to Bryant.
Scotty, the clock's starting to wind down. Let's not forget here, you're going to pick the...
Oh, header just wide.
Chance for a goal there. You're going to pick the Kecoughtan player of the game, and I'm going to pick the Phoebus player of the game.
That's right. And I've still got a little work to do, so it's going to give me 5 minutes to figure that out. It's going to be tough. They really play well as a team, and I think that that's been a problem early in the year, and worried about who's supposed to do what and who's doing what. And instead, I think they really decided it's time to get off that 0-2-3 thing that they had going and really go down to Virginia Beach and regroup just prior to the Peninsula season. And they did that against Salem, and today they're really, really playing well. And I think we've had 4 different goal scorers, and one was unassisted, but other than that, 3 different players assisting on the goals, which, you know, there's 7 players involved in all the goals, and obviously with a shutout, they played great defensively, so it's going to be tough to make that call.
Scotty, there's another Kecoughtan player we haven't mentioned, Ryan Schmidt, who is a senior. It's his 2nd year on the varsity. He participates in National Honor Society. He's the ICC representative, the Key Club treasurer, the Model UN treasurer. He's got a grade point average of 3.76, and he's 46th in his class.
And that was a beautiful ball. It was played outside from Cerrone, and then outside they centered it into Jared Williams, who made a beautiful one-touch, but a tad too high. Donatelli will put this one back into play. That was Kern that made the big cross for Kecoughtan earlier. I didn't see his number over there. That's Scott Kern, number 23, right there on the sideline. Kern again on the outside. It's going to work right. Ball sent back from Nisbet all the way down to Tinsley at the defensive end for the Warriors. Tinsley sends it outside. Ball sent back in by Wright for Phoebus. Nisbet again up the right side now. He sends the ball to 17. Boyd Saunders.
Scotty, if I could mention a few other of the Phoebus players we haven't talked about yet. Alex Pope is a midfielder, a sophomore. It's his first year on the varsity. Participates in youth and government, the youth commission, and has a grade point average of 4.2. Nicholas Paris is a defender, a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. He is in the history club, and his hobby is drawing. And Kyle Johnson is a defender, a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. Kyle participates in the Key Club, the football team, the swim team, and has a grade point average of 3.5.
Kecoughtan's brought back some of those starters, and they also changed keepers while we were talking, Bob. That's Nick Silvas in the box for the Warriors.
Nick is a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. He's on the football team, the Principals Advisory Committee, TSA, plays some volleyball, and has a grade point average of 4.1.
4.1 work. Nisbet's now kind of moved back for Phoebus.
Kecoughtan has had a real tradition, and Phoebus does too, obviously, of really having a good academic performers on the soccer teams. The girls team 2 years ago had a team grade point average of 3.9.
Stephen Bryant left the game for Phoebus, so we are starting to sub a little bit, get some fresh legs out there, and they're going to need them as Kecoughtan again as we send some more fresh legs back in the game after their rest, so I'm sure they're going to come hard at them. Klein working the sideline well. Nice touch. Sends that ball back to Vogel. Vogel kind of misses it a bit, but Keck may run it down. Tries and can't. It'll be a Phoebus throw-in. Over here, that's Wright. One of the other keepers, we said it was going to be difficult to get him in. Have you been able to mention Ryan Saloka?
No, it is tough to get in when you have four keepers. For Kecoughtan, here's another attack on the goal. Ryan Saloka is a junior. It's his first year on the varsity. He's on the golf team, participates in the Key Club, and has a grade point average of 3.6.
Ryan played, I know, the second half of the game on Monday night and didn't allow a goal against Salem.
We also need to mention for Phoebus, Jonathan Haug, who's a senior midfielder. It's his second year on the varsity. He's on the golf team, participates in National Honor Society, has a grade point average of 4.2, which makes him 7th in his class, and he's deciding between Virginia Tech and Mary Washington.
One of the favorite girls soccer players from Kecoughtan went to Mary Washington and was an All-American in field hockey, Jessica Morris. Deep ball to Silvas, not a bad handle, first one of the day for him. Tough to take that without warming up. Let it bounce off his chest, but recovered quickly. Klein is offsides for the Warriors. It was close, and Holleran doesn't like it. But up in the booth, they agree it was a fine call. I like listening to Bailey when he's up in the booth agreeing with the officials. He didn't do that as much on the sidelines as he's doing now. He's changed immensely. Stillwell fires that one through. Donatelli picks up from Phoebus.
Scotty, let's mention another Phoebus player, Rob King, who's a sophomore midfielder. It's his first year on the varsity. He participates in the Key Club, the FBLA. His hobby is snowboarding, which my daughter tried recently with mixed results at best, and has a grade point average of 3.54.
Once again offsides, and again it was called up here before down there, so the calls must be good. Picking them up as well. 10, Jonathan Nisbet handles briefly. Fenn steps on that. Nice circus move.
Kecoughtan
Comes out with it, though.
Kecoughtan has a way to go to beat the offsides record for our telecast. Candace Sharp was once offside 8 times in one game.
At least. Nice ball, settled by Stillwell and headed to Fenn. Tries a little bicycle activity.
We're going to call that one too.
I'm glad he didn't make that, because that would have been pretty and then called back. Heck of an effort.
Scotty, we're down to 4 minutes to go. You've got 2 minutes to make your decision for player of the game. And you'll be doing Kecoughtan, I'll be doing Phoebus. And there's going to be a trophy given from Trophy World. And where's the T-shirt from?
The T-shirt is from Tidewater Team Sports. I have how long? A minute? All right. Play outside. Throw in. Looks like Tinsley is waiting to sub in. Excuse me, Phoebus ball. Tinsley waiting for a Kecoughtan throw. Sub. Tinsley enters the game. Out goes Chris Hain. Chris Hain played a very good game for Kecoughtan in the back. Fenn sends it out to Walters. Walters works with Boyd Saunders for Phoebus, knocks him down and takes the ball away. Klein again offsides, but no call yet. There it is.
He is attempting to catch up with Candace here in the waning moments of this game.
It's getting closer.
We're down to about 2 minutes, and we're going to have to.
I tell you what, we're going to get that Phoebus player of the game first.
I'm going to make my selection for the Phoebus player of the game, and I choose Boyd Saunders, who has played solidly all day long for Phoebus. I think he played a good game and is deserving as player of the game.
He did play a nice game, pal. I'll give you that. It's Walters sending it back. Tinsley up front. Tinsley looking to find some work. Sends it outside to Klein. Nice high touch by Klein through the box and a beautiful header by 11. That was Ian Taylor just barely over the cage. Nice ball.
I don't know what admitted my choice of Boyd Saunders. I had some help from coaches Cerrone and Bailey, but you, my man, are on your own.
My arms are outstretched. I'm looking for help myself. I really, again, I think it was such a well-played game as a team for Kecoughtan in the first half. And again here in the second half, Walters played very well. I think Griffith came up big a few times. I tell you what, it was 4-0, and I've always been a fan of the defenders, and I think Chris Hain was there every time he needed to be. Did nice work in the back for Kecoughtan. The sweepers don't get a lot of credit, especially when you win 4-0, but I think the ball was spread out enough and the statistics were spread out enough. I'm going to give it to Chris Hain in the back.
I think that's a good choice. Phoebus could do nothing with the Kecoughtan defense, and a lot of that was because Chris was so fast and was playing deep sweeper and played it very well.
I was fortunate to play hockey against Chris last week, and I taught him a thing or two. Can't do it in soccer, but I blistered him on the rink. Ball goes out. We're down into the officials' time, I believe. Tough to see the scoreboard. Looks like it may end 4-0. Good game, Bob. I appreciate it. Again, we thank Channel 46 for this. Mike Nowinski, Nathaniel Braxton. Back at the station, Scotty Bowers. We'll try to report when they're going to show it as soon as we get that information.
And I also want to remind everybody again, especially the Kecoughtan families, of the Tromley Scholarship Alumni Game, which is set up for, I believe it's June 12. Isn't that right, Coach Bailey? June 12 here at Darling Stadium. And give it a chance for everyone to make further contributions to the scholarship fund. And there'll be a car wash as well. Bring your car out and donate as much as you can for the best car wash adults can possibly give you in 3 minutes. And keep those cars moving. It makes for a nice day. This has been a well-played game, as I say, much less chippy than years past.
And thanks again to Trophy World and Tidewater Team Sports. We appreciate it. The players appreciate it. Great game. Final score, Kecoughtan 4, Phoebus 0.
We'd like to remind you that today's match is being televised on Channel 46. We'll announce the show times as soon as we know them. We have players of the game today. We'd ask these two players to come up to the booth to receive your awards. The player of the game for Phoebus is Boyd Saunders. For Kecoughtan, Chris Hain.